Yo, it's your boy Logos, and today I want to react to his Thomas Sowell clip because I think he's going to discuss the importance of culture and then placing the right values within your community if you want long-term success. From a very young age, I've noticed that it seems that we do a lot of double talk, at least within the black community. We say we want certain things, but oftentimes the behaviors we enable or praise or put on the pedestal is very much to our detriment, whether it be our culture within the music of gangster rap, and we talk about death of black young men or police brutality, where every rap song is talking about spinning a block and kill another black man, and how kill another black man makes you a quote unquote real nigga, or how dealing drugs within your own community or dealing drugs at all makes you a quote unquote real nigga, even if you're like 12, 13, 10 years old. This whole mindset within our community where we love to poison ourselves or kill ourselves or each other over the most idiotic stuff like property you don't even own or drugs that is only poisoning yourself or costing you your freedom. You may earn $20,000, $30,000 within about 2 years or within like a few months or however much it may be, but then you lost 10 years of your life. And then you have that mark on your record for the rest of your life. We seem to have a lot of short-term thinking, but then when somebody tries to say that, they call you a sellout, they call you Uncle Tom, and they say you acting right. For example, myself and Ram was told why you acting right or why you talking like that or doing certain things, whether it be reading a book or maybe being able to have a clear sentence or understanding when we put our words together. There's certain stuff like that shows intellect, that shows literacy, that shows progress, of human civilization. To have a conversation and share ideas clearly is acting right. But when you look around at what we have, you can't be surprised. You can't have success, you can't have prosperity without knowledge. And if you don't want to have your children to be educated or read all the time and it's not be bullshit rap lyrics or just mindless TV shows or drama, it just makes no sense to me. I don't understand how much we say we don't want to be looked at a certain way, but oftentimes within our media, whether it be like the rap or the singing or any other type of media, maybe it be the TV shows like Love and Hip Hop or Bad Girls Club. So often these shows where it's nothing but drama and hatred and embarrassing each other is dominated by black women that oftentimes like to call themselves queens. I'm of the opinion that if you're at a certain status or you just have common sense, you shouldn't be acting this type of way. Throwing glasses, breaking bottles, screaming at each other, getting into fights, having your titties and all this shit show out. You can't go out to a public place like a gala or anything like that without a titty hanging out or your ass cheek showing. I don't understand this quote unquote queen behavior. I don't understand our community why we uphold this type of stuff. It goes much deeper than this, but I could be here all day. I'm curious to see what Thomas Sowell got to say about it, and if he has shows the same opinion as me, or if he thinks something a little bit differently. Either way, I think we can change this stuff, and if we want to get better, that's the way we do so. Not demanding the world to accept us the way we are when we're doing behaviors that makes no sense. Another quick example would be how much we somehow got an issue with marriage, but then we say the black family needs to get stronger, or we say the black family was torn apart by the government. But at the same time, we uphold people that have multiple baby mamas or multiple baby daddies and say she's just a struggling single mother doing the best she can. No, she chose to have sex and do this type of stuff. But when you try to control people's feelings or, pamper people's feelings, common sense and logic goes out the window. Let's get into it.
It may sound noble to say that cultures are merely different, not better or worse in any way, and that it is all a matter of perceptions and preferences. But this argument contradicts itself by saying that one way of looking at cultural differences is better, the way of cultural relativism preferred by a fringe of contemporary intellectuals, rather than the way preferred by the vast majority of other human beings around the world and down through the centuries. These cultural differences do not matter only if cause and effect do not matter. But those who wish to be spared the devastations of diseases which have plagued the human race from time immemorial must either have the cultural capital of modern medical science themselves or have access to others who do. Smallpox, for example, continued to ravage the peoples of Eastern Europe and the Balkans long after vaccination had brought it under control elsewhere in Europe. because this was one of the many forms of cultural capital that came belatedly to these regions. Even after modern medicine became accessible to the poorer peoples of Europe, the same diseases continued to ravage poorer peoples more remote from the centers of Western medical advancement. It was not just a matter of perceptions and preferences. Widely varying amounts and kinds of cultural capital make economic and social disparities among groups and nations virtually inevitable. Yet the political temptation is to overlook the causal influences of differences in cultural capital, which often go far back into history, and instead to attribute these disparities to current failures of society. For example, the head of the leading black civil rights organization in the United States declared in 1994, "Almost half of all African American children live in poverty. Black unemployment is twice that of whites. The infant mortality rate in many black communities is equal to that of many third world nations. The statistics for housing, crime, and education deliver a tragic statement of despair and inequality. Yet in polls, more than 60% of whites say blacks now have equal opportunity." The very possibility that these disparities might be due to cultural differences affecting behavior and attitudes, or to differences in the human capital brought into the workplace, rather than to the behavior of the larger society, received no attention whatever, either in this statement or in much of the media or the academic world. Yet, when all this was being said, black American married couples with college degrees were at the same income level as white American married couples with college degrees. Even a quarter of a century earlier, black males raised in homes with books and library cards were at the same income level as white males raised in homes with similar advantages and similar education. While infant mortality rates were higher among blacks in general than among whites in general, infant mortality rates among black intact families were lower than among white female-headed families, even when those white females had more education than black females living with their husbands. In short, lifestyle differences have had major impacts on social misfortunes, though only minor impact on much thinking about those misfortunes. The issues reach beyond questions of blaming a group or assigning guilt to society. Future improvements depend upon how much of present efforts go into developing the internal resources of a group and how much into seeking political changes in the surrounding society. The implications of cultural development, as well as cultural differentiation, affect not only such issues as intergroup differences in economic progress, but also race and racism as factors in such progress.
To be honest with you, I think if we just would prioritize books, libraries, reading, not spend so much time on tablets, not spending so much time on social media, and honestly just valuing being outside and getting a good education, we'll be much better off. When you have more knowledge about the world, you have more knowledge about the options available to you. And considering the fact that everybody now has a computer in their pocket, we could honestly be using that to much better things. So many times I see kids on YouTube or other type of maybe Twitch, and I watch Twitch myself, but they watch this stuff so much they really don't get much education or they don't really spend much time reading. Me and Ram say this all the time. We were lucky enough to not have social media growing up. We really didn't get it till middle school, but we were lucky enough to have memories of just going outside and playing, talking with our friends in person, not just worried about what's happening online, being stuck to a screen. And honestly, I like those days so much because it just gave you freedom. I don't know, when I was growing up, I always went to the library. I still remember getting books about Barry Sanders, getting books about like science type stuff. I can't remember if I actually got history stuff back then because I really didn't get into history or get that exposed to it as much as I did now until I started reading Percy Jackson. But honestly, if I didn't have the Scholastic Book Fair or if I didn't go to that library every single week like I wanted to, who knows if I would have gotten to that point. My whole point is to start young. Start reading to your kids at an early age. Spend time with them. Even if they can't always understand the words, just having that interaction with them is just good for them. And if we did that more, instead of prioritizing fun and all this other stuff, we'll be better off. And what Thomas Sowell said about the importance of intact families, It just makes sense. I can't tell you how many times I've seen young black women saying they're struggling, they're stressed, they're going through it, how much they wish they could have some help with their kids. And my thinking is, where's the father? Where's his family? Where's your family? But so many times they end up separating. Sometimes they don't even get they don't even be together as long as that baby is like in her womb. They may last like 3 months, 6 months, and they break up while she's still pregnant. Now she has to do all this stuff by herself. Not gonna understand she's struggling, but at the same time, you have to protect yourself because nobody else gonna go through that struggle but you. So this whole idea that everybody else should pick up your slack is just ridiculous to me. I'm not saying that people within your family should help you, but you shouldn't be demanding stuff of people. People have their own lives and you need to protect yourself. I think our government enabled this type of stuff too. The fall of the black family has a role to play with the whole rise of social benefits, food stamps. You can't have a father in the home, or you can't have another man in the home and have those kids and still receive food stamps and the government assistance. So at the same time, that breaks up the family. But within our own community, we don't make a big deal about this type of stuff. We don't say single mothers should try not to be single mothers to begin with. We always just say it's not her fault and help her out and be understanding. And if you don't want to do that type of stuff, or if you don't want to be a stepfather, something wrong with you. It's just really weird. We can so rarely put the blame on the person that actually did something, whether it's man or woman, because I did a whole video on it like, what, 6 months ago, maybe even longer at this point, to be honest with you. But the whole free him mindset, black men going to jail doing stupid stuff like gang violence, like I talked about at the start of the video, and then their family members or friends or whoever wants to say free them. Just straight up idiotic. Where you don't have people suffering consequences and do it over and over and over again and become generational. You don't teach your kid this type of stuff, or your culture or community don't do this type of things. They're just gonna keep doing it over and over again. You can't get mad at anybody but yourself. Nobody else is gonna save you, and nobody else did it to you. The white man, the government, none of this stuff caused you to be pregnant. The white man, the government didn't cause you to steal, kill, rob, or put that culture on the pedestal. It's your own damn fault, and that's how I feel about it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's your boy Logos. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.